My name is Nad Cyrus, and I'm the CTO for Cidel Group. I'm actually based at Cidel Bank and Trust in Barbados, and I'm responsible for IT for the entire group, which covers development, business analysts, cybersecurity, and infrastructure. So Cidel is in the process of digitizing our operations. So that's going to involve using cloud technologies, using some AI, a lot of automation. And we have recently transitioned from Olympic on the ERI series onto Windows. We're in the process of doing that because that fits into our strategy, rather, of ultimately moving to the cloud and being able to integrate with other pieces of software and other service providers. The SaaS model, which is software as a service, is an increasingly interesting offering, I guess. It's important. And using APIs to be able to integrate is going to be a part of that. So we felt that we are much stronger on Windows, and it fits into, we're a Microsoft client as well. So being part of that ecosystem, it makes sense for us to leverage that sort of shared technology fabric to be able then to integrate a lot of different service providers that might be agnostic to what we're doing. Clients want convenience, and Cidel is in the high net worth to ultra high net worth service space. So we put a premium on client service. And in order for us to satisfy our clients, we start off by being able to allow our mobile force to be efficient and effective at what they do. So that's going to be everything from digital onboarding, using technology for clients to be able to onboard in a more efficient, effective, independent manner as opposed to having to come into a physical office. But it goes, a long way then towards how we service them. Our clients are international, they think internationally, and being able to offer them a suite of products in a manageable way, but also a secure way that meets regulatory requirements is important. So as part of our transition right now onto the Windows platform, that is allowing us to increase automation. It's allowing us to begin to now move towards integrating AI. I mean, AI is a hot topic, but I don't want to get caught up in the fluffy trends of, just having chatbots, because our clients aren't going to want chatbots. But using AI to make our workforce more efficient and effective. What does that mean? That means that, for instance, being able to look at funds as they're moving, whether it's SWIFT or ACH, being able to understand what activity is occurring and be able to screen that so that the staff can actually be more meaningful in terms of what they're doing, be more value added as opposed to having to deal with a lot of mundane things like reconciliations or what's not. But it's a bunch of small steps that will over time increase the efficiency and just the overall quality of employment, because happy staff are going to work harder and be better at what they do. So I think fundamentally what we're doing with Olympic right now is building the future Cidel, and that's going to allow us to sort of future-proof what we want to offer clients today and tomorrow in the distance, and trying to anticipate where the technology is going to go and how we can sort of leverage it now to be able to position ourselves to be in the best position to be able to service our clients is important. I'm here right now with you in Geneva, and we have clients here, but we have clients all over. And ultimately, the clients in our different pockets of our regions have different cultures and different expectations. But ultimately, they want a provider that understands them, their businesses. And Olympic has been and continues to be a big part of that sort of overall endeavor that we have. Having a system that plugs into a broad ecosystem is so very key, because no product does it all by itself. And being able to orchestrate servicing the client that has, complexity that might be multi-jurisdictional on a platform that is invisible to the clients, but that brings it home, I think is key. So Olympic continues to help us, along that journey. So it's interesting because, as a wealth management and a private bank, when we are talking to clients, we're usually not talking about technology. Technology for us is an enabler. It's supportive, almost like electricity. So, we now live in a world where people expect mobile apps, web portals. The expectation of our clients now is much different than it was 20 years ago. When salespersons are speaking to an existing client or trying to woo a new client, they're not dangling technology in their face. That's something that's sort of expected. So, if I do my job correctly, what it means is that the sales guys, the back office people, the compliance people, there's a harmony of all these jobs that needs to happen in order for us to service clients. When it's tax time, they need to be able to trust that we're giving them, the right information. We operate in a highly regulated space, and that offers a bunch of challenges. So the technology is what we use to try to help us do all of that much better, much more effectively, without having to add a lot of bodies. And I think that's important because, like any business, you are focused on being profitable. And I think the technology is always an investment that we use to keep us lean, but keep us effective. And that's a balancing act. And as the world changes, we have to adapt. So, being able to use APIs to be able to grab information from maybe a client's account provider that we have no relationship with, and bring it into our system and be able to report on it in a consolidated manner. Those are sort of things that we have been trained to do to be able to sort of offer our clients a unique perspective. We're not retail banking, so our clients are one of 100,000. They're one of a few special ones. And in doing that, each client has their unique perspective and desire. We can't satisfy everything for everyone, but we put a premium on understanding the clients in our space, what they want, and then trying to find ways of delivering to that. And technology helps that. What I would say also is, because we are now on AO3 OMP, and OMP stands for Olympic Multi-Platform, so it means that it works on Linux and it works on Windows and the ES400 whatnot. A big part of that most people don't talk about, and it's that sort of invisible piece, is the cybersecurity. And we put a lot of energy into that because, moving money, being custodian of assets is a serious responsibility. There's a lot of PIA that is including our documents, being able to share things securely, being able to protect people's assets once we have them on custody, being able to have secure communications where people trust that what they tell us is held in confidence and we're not sharing that information with all and sundry. Those are the pieces that I think no one talks about for good reasons, but those are the things that people expect to be strong. And I feel that Olympic is one of those key components that plugs in nicely to a lot of our other tool set, a lot of our policies, a lot of our procedures, a lot of our systems. And the world is much more complicated than it ever was before. There are much more threat actors out there. And, my job is to try to make sure that we orchestrate all of these pieces without making staff's lives harder, and try to keep all of that behind closed doors and invisible to the client, so that the clients are smiling, staff are smiling, and everyone goes home.